Welcome to Mediumship Moments with psychic medium Kim Durham. Join her as she shares her personal journey with mediumship, connects with your loved ones, and discusses topics dealing with spirituality.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mediumship Moments. I'm your host, Kim Durham. And today, I want to wish you the top of the morning because happy Tuesday, because we're going to do the luck of the Irish. Yeah, you know. Anyone else Irish out there? Irish? Yeah, I think something like 75% of us in the United States can trace our heritage back to being Irish. And I thought with St. Paddy's Day coming up, what a better time to talk about the luck of the Irish. So let's dive into it, should we? So we all think that, it's all about the Irish, the luck of the Irish. St. Paddy's Day is all about wearing green, right? Wearing green, drinking green beer, especially if you're, or being on the river that's green out in Chicago. We celebrate that Irish St. Paddy's Day, not just for a good time, but we talk about the heritage behind it. And so I wanted to talk about really how we can talk about, where it came from, a little bit of a deep dive, some history facts about it if you'd like. So St. Patrick was actually a real saint. Yep. Was a saint. He lived in the 5th century. That was a little while ago. And he's recognized as Ireland's patron saint and national apostle. So he was born in Roman Britain, which is pretty much England, but it was conquered by the Romans back then. And at the age of 16, he was actually kidnapped and taken to Ireland as a slave. That's what a lot of people did back then. They just up and picked you up. And that's how they got the farming done and the apprenticeships and things like that. So one of the most famous tales about St. Patrick is the 3 leaves of the shamrock. Has anybody ever found a 4th one? I have one time. One time I found a 4th little clover, but which is the native clover with the 3 to Ireland. And it's they explain it as the Holy Trinity, right? The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So the Holy Spirit, pardon me. So St. Patrick was trying to win over some pagan leaders, those people that didn't believe in a God, or they believed in many gods back then, let's face it. And he was trying to have those pagan leaders grasp the idea of the Trinity. When he spotted a clover and he picked it up and he showed these pagan leaders the Holy Trinity, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, getting them to explain how the plant was one with a single stem, right? So there could be 3 factions, but still one entity. So this illustration kind of clicked with the pagan chiefs, and they decided to then come about and embrace Christianity. So then, from this granting of Christianity, Patrick and his followers were then granted freedom to travel about Ireland freely. And they were allowed at that point to continue to spread the word of Christianity. So, it's also, the shamrock is also part of not only the Irish heritage, but also it's linked to luck and good fortune. So there's sayings, the luck of the Irish be with you. And according to Irish folklore, the shamrock is believed to bring that good luck. I can remember my grandmother having a little piece of jewelry, and in it was a 4-leaf clover. And it was in, kind of like with a clear cover, and she would wear it. And it was believed to bring good luck. Well, for those of us who know Marge, she was pretty lucky. She was pretty lucky. She was pretty good down at the casinos, I'm just saying. Or at bingo, I should say bingo. But it was also believed to ward off evil spirits. And even believed that it could get you a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. I have yet to find one, but that's the belief, that you see a rainbow and there's a pot of gold just at the end of it. So, talking about our Irish heritage, talking about St. Paddy's Day, bringing forth all of that good luck, good humor, good spirit or energy, the luck of the Irish. It's something that I can remember growing up and all the Irish sayings that came from it. My mother had more Irish sayings than I could ever, like there's a lid to fit every pot. Like, what, really? What? That just meant that you would find your partner or your soulmate at some point in your life, that every pot had a lid. But anyway, let's talk about some of these traditions, right? So St. Patrick's Day was a feast or a celebration to celebrate this saint and the anniversary of his death. On that day, Christians break their Lenten fast, which means they would break the 40 days of Lent before Easter regarding food and drinks, which is why, this is true, heavy drinking now is a part of those festivities. Yeah. Anybody ever been to Irish weekend? Yeah. There's a lot. I tease that the Irish people tend to be thirsty people. Thirsty, yes. But, it's just interesting how each culture, especially the Irish, bring forth that link of Christianity and those beliefs and mold them into what folklore is. So the Irish immigrants, as we all know, came about from the famine, the potato famine, and they began to migrate throughout the United States, obviously to New York, through Ellis Island, and then on to Chicago, and then out west. And they brought with them their traditions of St. Patrick, their Irish traditions of cooking as well. And it actually, the first holidays of St. Patrick's Day celebrations on American soil predate our own Declaration of Independence. Yeah. So they were celebrating St. Patty's Day here in the United States before we ever got the right for a Declaration of Independence here. So that's how long the Irish tradition of St. Patty's Day has been a part of our United States. And it's interesting, whenever you go about, I get to travel quite a bit, and I tease St. Patty's Day is a national holiday for me, not only because I'm Irish, but because somebody near and dear to me had open heart surgery on that day, and I drink to their blowout patch. May it always hold. So it's a twofold celebration for me. But some of the other celebrations people have on St. Patty's Day, like out in Chicago, if you've ever had a chance to get out there for St. Patty's Day, it's amazing. They actually dye the Chicago River green. They take the boats out, and it's just really cool to watch. And then they put all the ducks in. It's really cool. So the first year, and they thought, that the tradition kicked off in 1962 when pollution control workers used dyes to track down illegal sewage leaks, and thought, why not use green dye to celebrate St. Patty's Day? So how funny is that the public works people, shout out to them, started to use this vegetable dye to track down the sewage leaks to be able to repair them, and in fact thought, this is pretty cool. We should do this for St. Patty's Day. And they've been doing it ever since. So, and there's quite a large population of Irish people in Chicago to this day, and in Boston. If you've ever been up there, God love them. There's and it's lovely because sometimes when I'm around people with the Irish accent, I just fold into it, because I grew up with an Irish mother and all those sayings and that dialect, 1, 2, tree. Yeah. Tree. That's how they count. 3 is tree. And mutter, we mutter. That's how they talk. And so I remember being up in Boston. It was not St. Patty's Day, but we went in to quench our thirst, shall we, at an Irish bar. And I started talking, and sure enough, he goes, whereabouts have you came from Ireland? And I was like, oh, well, no, actually, New Jersey. But it was kind of funny how I just pick up that dialect, and it becomes a part of me. And I'd only had one beer, so it wasn't that I had many. But anyway, so that's how St. Patty's Day and the tradition of green dye came about through Chicago. Now, the first year they did it, they dumped over 100 pounds of green vegetable dye, which kept the river green for over a week. I mean, truly, can you imagine that? It's really, if you've ever been to Chicago and see all the rivers that come about, it's amazing to see. But nowadays, with being more eco-friendly, they use only about 40 pounds of dye. and the river stays green for only a few hours, just long enough to celebrate the whole St. Paddy's Day. So let's talk about some parades of St. Paddy's Day, this patron saint. There was a belief that he led the snakes out of Ireland, a bit of folklore, but nonetheless a fun visual or a fun tradition that they dress up as St. Patrick. And in some of the parades, you'll see people dressed as snakes coming behind them. But here in New York City, they started their parade to hold the largest celebration for St. Paddy's Day in 1766. Isn't that amazing? And some say that this is arguably continues to be the largest St. Paddy's Day parade in the world. So when we have St. Paddy's Day, we get out there and we wear some green. Yep. Traditionally, those who were caught not wearing green were pinched affectionately. It was just you should be doing it. So pinching became a bit of a thing that, you're not wearing the green, you'll be getting pinched. The green has ties to the Irish flag, which is, of course, orange, white, and green. And it makes you invisible to the leprechauns and the ties to with the color of the shamrock. So there's all those symbolisms. Green is in the Irish flag. It makes you invisible to leprechauns. So if you're going to be sneaking up on one, at the end of that rainbow, looking for that pot of gold, just wear green. Wear green, as they would say. Now, it's celebrated St. Patrick's Day all over the world in all kinds of different ways. But the largest one in the Southern Hemisphere is actually in Sydney, Australia. And that actually eclipses, at times, the parade in New York City. There are many people who migrated from Ireland to Australia, and it does have a very large population. And the Australians tend to be a tad of thirsty people. I love you all out there. I have many clients in Australia, and it seems to be another reason to be hoisting, working out the 12 ounces. So let's talk about the St. Paddy's Day tradition of luck. Now, luck is, we define it as like chance happening, that something is beyond someone's control. And, if you win at the lottery, you had the luck of the Irish with you. And if you were down the casinos and you had some Irish luck with you, that would be it. But they talk about the number, not only the shamrock being linked to the luck of Irish, but also the number 7. For starters, there's 7 days in the week. There's 7 colors in the rainbow. There's 7 notes in the music. And also, we can't forget the 7 deadly sins. So that has seemed to be luck or good luck. Now, in Islam, there are 7 heavens, the belief of Islam, and 7 earths. And the Muslims go to the Hajj pilgrimage, and they walk to the Kaaba in Mecca in 7 times. All these factors highlight, right, all the existences of different cultures that believe 7 is lucky. Now, with this whole St. Paddy's Day and luck of the Irish, can we increase our chances of luck? Well, I think you can. I often talk about positive thought, positive energy, but we all know someone who's luckier than someone else. I tend to be lucky when I go, and I go very rarely. But if I head down to the casinos, I will check the energy of everybody around me before I sit there and play. Now, I do have a bit of an advantage. I grant you that. But some people are luckier than others, right? Somebody who's always winning the. Actually, my mom. This is a good story. My mom, when the ladies would have the Bake Fest to raise money for local sports groups and stuff. And my mom was forever winning it. And they teased that Joan had a fix on it. And my mom, Joan, wasn't allowed to try her hand on the 50-50 anymore because she kept winning it. But yeah, some of us are luckier than others. So we talk about how to increase those choices or chances of luck. And I talk about positive thought, positive energy, that mindset that if you put that energy out positively, it comes back to you as such. They also talk about, building some habits over and actions that resonate with a vision of good luck. So if you visualize, let's say you're down the casinos, we'll give you an example, and you're walking around and you're trying to find a lucky machine, right? You've got $20 and we're going to have some fun. So you walk along and I want you to stop for a minute and picture, like, just figure 4 cherries coming up, right? Winning. Now picture that in your mind's eye, or 4 shamrocks, and then walk to the machine that feels lucky to you. Now, a lot of people think the ones on the end do, but not necessarily. So it's putting out that intention, thinking of it, setting the stage for that unexpected good fortune. But it's also, luck is also thought of to be a spiritual sign of cosmic forces, right? The divine helping us steer us in the right direction. And, a lot of people believe in, if there's luck, then they're headed in the right direction. Like if something positive happens to them that seemed rather lucky, whether that was you were out at the let's say you were at a bookstore and you went to pick up the same book and someone starts a conversation and that person is looking for a job to hire someone in a career that you're hoping to get into. And you're like, really? Like, what was the randomness of that interaction? Or was it good luck? Who knows? But I believe that the universe plays some kind of role in all of this good luck that we have. Now, there's also people that believe that certain crystals emanate a frequency of vibration for good luck. And some people talk about wearing jade. It's color green, and they believe that reverses bad luck. The Chinese very much wear jade jewelry and will wear it when they come down to the casinos. And how do I know that? Because I was a croupier, and they'd have their jade rings on, they'd have their necklaces, their bracelets. They were all jaded out. Another one is venturine. It's light green, and that's known to attract luck and money. Citrine is yellow, and that attracts abundance and health. And then lace agate, or agate, and that's purple, that talks about stability. So those are just some crystals that some people wear to increase their vibrational energy about St. Paddy's Day or luck of the Irish. So with St. Paddy's Day coming up, I hope that you think about the origins of it, learn a little history on today's podcast. Maybe you want to buy a few crystal bracelets with those colors I talked about to increase your vibrational energy for good luck. But as I always end my Mediumship Moments podcast with a mediumship moment, I thought I'd share something that happened to me in Ireland. It wasn't St. Paddy's Day, but it was rather remarkable. So I took a trip to Ireland with some dear friends, and it was just amazing. I mean, the weather was they said it's never this warm. I believe it was the second week of Ireland of November. It was right before the holidays. And it was just outstanding. The weather was amazing. November 5th to the 12th, that's when we went. And it was sprinkled throughout the week with only just a little spritz of rain. Just kind of like Florida rain. It only rained for like 20 minutes. But we were heading out. We got to see all of we saw the southern region. We weren't trying to because I'm going to go back and do the northern end. So our early week, we're packed with, the luggage and all things that we did. And I went to Kinsales, we did Dublin, we did the Cliffs of Moher. It was just amazing. But the last night, we were all heading back to Dublin because the next day we were flying out. So we met at a bar that we had been to early in our trip, and it was really dead when we were there. And there wasn't music. I mean, wasn't really much going on. And I was like, are we going to go back there? Really? Because it didn't seem lively. But off we went. Now there's 6 of us, and we were meeting that night. It was pouring rain. When I tell you it was the weather for ducks, it was pouring. And we head into this bar, and the music is just bumping. I mean, it's the Irish music. And you walked in, and it was kind of like elevated, like you could see people down below. And to my left, there's a dance floor and all these musicians playing. There's got to be about 10 of them. And who's on the guitar and the sheepskin drum and the mandolin and it was just amazing. And the people were dancing. And I felt like I walked into a movie scene. You ever you just stop for a moment and take this in, and the place is packed. The music's playing, people are dancing, everybody's having a blast. And it's just amazing, raising glasses, amazing energy. And I'm thinking, there is no way in hell I'm going to find a seat, especially for 6 of us. Fun, right? It was just amazing. So the next thing I know, we come down, there's steps to the main area. And to the right, there are kind of raised seating. And the dance floor's here. And then there's a straight shot back to another bar. And this woman comes up. Now, is anybody remember Catherine O'Hare? She played in a lot of parts with John Wayne. So she had bright red hair. And she comes walking right up to me. Now, I'm not the first person in line, but she made her way to me. And she goes, darling, what time would your reservations be? And I went, And I remember looking up to the clock that was in front of me across that doorway to head back to the other bar. And it was about 6:20. I said, 6:30, darling. And she went, that'd be good. I'll be finding you a table. And I thought, well, what the? So the next thing I know, a table behind us opens up. I think she kind of told the people they had to get up and leave because there wasn't any seats when we got in there. And the next thing I know, we had the best spot in the bar. Best spot, truly, in the bar. We overlooked the dance floor. And at that time, there was an older gentleman dancing with a younger woman, and he was just having the time of his life. And the music was playing, and we ordered dinner. And all of my friends turned to me and said, Kim, how did you make this happen? When there wasn't a seat, we didn't have any reservations. And I turned to her and I said, well, was it the luck of the Irish or was it me mother who made this happen? I'll never know, but it was a magical moment and it truly was a fun way to cap off a trip. And if you've never gone to Ireland, the people are lovely. It's just an amazing place to go. But I thank me mother for making that happen. And as I always encourage you on Mediumship Moments podcast, keep chatting with your angels because they can hear you.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for another episode of Mediumship Moments. If you enjoyed this episode of Kim's podcast, check her out on Instagram and TikTok at Kim Durham Medium.